and Gomeo Brennan, they were literally, all right, the de facto ministers of tourism for this country, and they carried it well.
Andre Rogers played 11 years in the major leagues, was a career .249 hitter, hit about 45 home runs. Especially with the expectations that were applied to him as he came up through San Francisco in 1958. I think if he were sitting here, he would say he didn't do as well as he wished he had done. But when you really look at where he came from and the fact that he never played baseball throughout his childhood, he had never played baseball before he arrived in Florida in 1954 to go to his first Major League Baseball spring training camp. He had never seen a baseball game, hardball game. He didn't know what a curveball was. He had grown up playing softball and cricket. And for a guy to do what he did, just to reach the major leagues, not to mention all of his success in the minor leagues, and to last 11 years in the majors, living in a new country, in a new culture, dealing with the racism that was prevalent in the U.S. back in those days. To me, his story is an incredibly successful and heartwarming story.
After fighting a respiratory illness, Andre died in December 2004. And while the pages of history will show that to date, 60 years after his career began, Andre played in the major leagues longer than any other Bahamian. What the pages of history won't show is how much he loved his family and how more than anything he was proud of his strong and enduring relationship with his community.
Andre Rogers was a ball player, yes. He was the first Bahamian to play Major League ball, but we are not going to pigeonhole him as a great sports hero of the Bahamas. He was a Bahamian hero. He was a young man who had never played baseball in his life. And he did not let that deter him. He went on to become a great baseball player in the United States, in a country where millions of children aspire every year to enter Major League Baseball, where they start from the playground and they go right up through school. He did not have that. I want them to get the message that they can do anything that they want to do, that the size of their country does not determine the size of their achievement. And he was such a wonderful example of that. And so that is the message, that we, right in our neighborhood, we grew a Bahamian hero that every child, including my granddaughter, has to know about as a part of her heritage.
So there you have it, the Andre Rogers story. I know that he would have been uncomfortable watching this documentary, but I also know that he would have been very proud that it's being dedicated to children everywhere.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, news, a new travel policy to take effect soon that will impact Bahamians traveling to the United States. Also, an official of social services addressing concerns on food distribution. And a 45-year-old man reported missing. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Evening, Bahamas. I'm Shoshana Wolf-Arkus, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, a new travel policy to take effect soon that will impact Bahamians traveling to the United States. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announcing a new order for all air passengers traveling to the United States yesterday. In just 1 week, all non-immigrant, non-U.S. citizen air travelers to the United States will be required to be fully vaccinated. Tonight, our Italia Hall provides more details on the order and speaks with a leader within the travel industry who confirms that the new requirement is only for air passengers. Italia Hall reports.
Starting November 8th, all non-immigrant, non-U.S. citizen air travelers to the United States will be required to be fully vaccinated and will be asked to provide proof of vaccination status prior to boarding an airplane to the United States. Exceptions to this policy will be extremely limited. Children under 18, people medically unable to receive the vaccine, emergency travelers who do not have timely access to a vaccine. Humanitarian exemptions to this order will be granted on an extremely limited basis. Now, U.S. citizens and legal permanent residents who are eligible to travel but are not fully vaccinated will need to provide proof of a negative COVID-19 test 1 day before their scheduled departure. U.S. citizens and legal permanent residents who are fully vaccinated will need to present airlines with proof of vaccination and of a negative COVID-19 test no older than 3 days old. The country's flag carrier, Bahamas Air, also making the announcement on social media this week. Valeria Caribbean sails from Port Everglades, Florida, to Grand Bahama and Bimini several times per week. Managing Director Mario Otero says he can confirm that this new order does not apply to sea passengers.
We have been in contact with the CDC since we knew that that was coming, and those requirements are not applicable to our ferry services. So we will remain with the requirements that we have now in place for coming into the Bahamas, and for the same as we have as of right now for returning to the United States.
Otero also taking the opportunity to share the vessel's current requirements.
The only requirements that we have in place is for accessing the Bahamas, which are the travel visa, the health visa, plus the COVID test and the vaccination. And for coming into the United States, as of right now, we do not have any requirements. So we do not request for test or for the vaccination card.
The CDC also announcing recently that any vaccine authorized for use by U.S. regulators or the World Health Organization will be accepted, as well as mixed-dose coronavirus vaccines from travelers. For additional information on the new order and requirements, persons are encouraged to visit the CDC's website or travel.state.gov. Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
In other news, the Department of Social Services now responsible for distributing the final set of coupon distributions for the National Feeding Program in Grand Bahama. There have been many questions regarding the distribution process, and Acting Deputy Director for the Northern District is addressing those concerns. Ramiko Knowles reports.
The National Food Assistance Coupon distributing began on the 25th of October and will be ongoing until November 5th. The program will take a break and resume November 29th to December 10th. Acting Deputy Director for Social Services Charlamagne Fernandez says the distribution is taking place at 2 locations.
I'm speaking to you from St. George's Gym. We are also conducting a distribution in 8 Mile Rock for persons in West Grand Bahama, St. George's for Central and East Grand Bahama. We are distributing the remaining coupons from the National Feeding Program to those persons who are on the list provided by the National Feeding Program.
Now, Fernando notes that a high number of persons are showing up who are not registered with the National Food Assistance Program. As you can see behind me, cars are lined up next to the St. George's Gymnasium. This line actually stretches beyond the school and onto the highway. However, Fernando notes that if you are not registered with the assistance program, you will be turned away.
Persons who are currently on Social Services Food Assistance Program would not qualify for this exercise. Only those persons who are on the National Feeding Program and do not receive assistance from the Department of Social Services. And the reason for that is that Social Services clients receive coupons at the end of every month. They would have last received assistance at the end of September. They will again at the end of October, etc. And the attempt now is to provide assistance to other persons who have not been able to access the food that they need through Social Services Program as yet.
Chief Welfare Officer responsible for the Community Support Division, Fran Bryce, says they have organized the coupon distribution in alphabetical order.
Those with surnames A to H are expected to present on the 25th to the 26th. On Wednesday, October 27th, we're doing I to M. Thursday, October 28th, surnames N to R. And on Friday, October 29th, surnames S to Z. We're asking that when you present, you bring your NIB card, please. You stand at the door. We will check the list for your name.
Now, for those people who have received coupons, officials are asking that you be mindful of the dates listed on the coupon.
The coupons that we present are the same coupons that were being presented all along. They have expiration dates. These are hard expiration dates, so persons are urged to pay strict attention to them, because if you present them after the expiration date, we will not be able to issue you a new coupon. So you must use them by the expiration date that is clearly marked on them.
And for those who are not registered, you are encouraged to register for social services assistance at promise.gov.bs.
They would first register, then click on services to apply for the assistance that they need. But the portal will prompt them as necessary. And in that way, persons can continue to get ongoing assistance as they need it.
Now, once all coupons are gone, officials say they will only be assisting those who have registered for the feeding program on the promise.gov.bs website. Romiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
The Grand Bahama community experiencing an unprecedented amount of outages over the last 3 to 6 months. Chief Operating Officer Nikita Mullings admitting that the linkages are as a result of the flooding damage caused by Hurricane Dorian to its Peel Street generation plant.
We have gotten our Unit 33 unit, which is one of the 3 units, back online, and we are working to get the other 2 units online by November. Once those units are online, we are able to decommission and return our generators, which has been supplementing the generation capacity to better be able to carry the island load. So without that base load plant, we are unfortunately at risk of seeing decreased reliability for many of our customers.
Now, if you have experienced appliance damage as a result of these unplanned outages, you are asked to contact the Grand Bahama Power Company at 352-8411. In other news, the Adventist Development Relief Agency continuing to make an impact on the backyard farming community. The organization recently donated hydroponic kits to local farmers, and this morning they facilitated an informational training on the proper use of these kits. Megan Shepard was there.
Recipients of hydroponic kits, courtesy of the Adventist Development Relief Agency, ADRA Bahamas, taking part in an informational session that is geared toward teaching them how to get the maximum results from their new kits. Project Officer for ADRA, Monique Wadine, says they are grateful to their partners that continue to help push this initiative forward.
We are so thankful for Grow Life, Jermaine Turnquest, who came down from Nassau to show these persons how to properly use their systems. We are also so grateful for Mr. Darren Roll from the Falcons Boys Club, who is also going to engage himself and his youth who he teaches and with mentors, yes. Mentors how to farm. And also, like I said, this would not be possible without the More Charitable Foundation for allowing us to donate these kits to these local farmers.
Co-owner and proprietor of Grow Life Supplies, Jermaine Turnquest, says they want to spread the message of self-sufficiency and sustainability. While providing explanations and instructions for the auto parts self-watering systems, he also shared the importance of growing your own food, especially now.
We also hammered down on the importance right now for our country to start major food production, or at least ramp it up, because of the current economic challenges that we faced, as well as all we are aware of the global supply chain shortage. So we're just here, passing on some knowledge and educating the people on how to grow and efficiently use the systems.
The kits can be used for hydroponics growing or soil-based. Turnquest shared these key tips for a successful garden.
So proper pruning techniques, for example. So when growing certain crops, you definitely want to carry out proper pruning just to make them more manageable, as well as prevent things such as fungal infections, right? So that was something that we talked about today. We also spoke about the use of proper substrates, right? And how to blend substrates together to get better results from your crops, better yield, higher yields, right? Another tip that we went over would be proper maintenance, the importance of actually keeping your systems and utensils clean.
Backyard farmer Esther Berger says the session was interesting and eye-opening.
I never even knew that my plants needed the nurturing as much as a kid does. Okay, I learned that today. And also to sanitize my equipment and my scissors and stuff that I use pruning my stuff, because I was wondering why my leaves and stuff started to turn brown or eat out on one side. And these seminars are very good and very informative. And like Jermaine said, we encourage all Bahamians to go ahead and farm. You don't have to have a big land to farm. Start very small, even from the pots.
Director of the Falcons Boys Club, Darren Roll, adding that his mentoring program is looking to implement a farm at the Champs Center in the very near future.
A part of the component of phase number 2 of the Boys Club is to actually teach young men about farming. So all the information that he's sharing as far as aquaponics, as far as how to grow, as far as the system itself, how to grow and don't have to have to run no electricity, don't have to have a water bill, don't have to have a light bill. It was very interesting this morning, and I am looking forward to further collaboration with both Grow Life and ADRA in reference to what the Falcons Boys Club is hoping to begin in the next 2 weeks here on the island of Freeport, Grand Bahama with our farming component.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Well, meantime, the Adventist Development Relief Agency also engaging in a shell home construction project with the goal of providing storm-resistant shells to households in the northern Bahamas. Project Officer Monique Dean says the project is expected to begin soon.
In Abaco, we actually want to assist persons who lost their homes in Hurricane Dorian, which is our next initiative that we are working on. We are providing homes for persons who lost their homes in Dorian. It's going to be a 24 by 24 wooden structure on stilts, and we plan to help or assist at least 30 persons.
Now, Dean adds that the recipients have already been selected, but for persons interested in assistance, they can contact the organization via their social media platforms.
The persons have been selected, and we hope to launch this project or begin what's necessary construction or begin construction as soon as next week. They could visit our website at www.adra.bs or follow us on social media accounts, ADRA Bahamas.
Family members of 45-year-old Garvin Jamal McDonald are concerned as to his whereabouts. The resident of East Beach Drive, Freeport, was last seen on August 23rd. McDonald is 5 feet 7 inches tall, 190 pounds with a medium brown complexion, average build, bald head. He also has a scar on his left hand and under his left eye. Now, if you have seen Garvin Jamal McDonald or know his whereabouts, please contact the Central Detective Unit in Grand Bahama at telephone numbers 350-3107 through 12, 919-911, or your nearest police station. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
Free to large and small generators, propane and butane stoves, LED flashlights, fuel canisters, coolers, batteries, gas and electric chainsaws, cooking supplies, tarps, matches, duct tape, and more.
Third Dimension on Yellow Pine Street introduces its new home improvement center. Step into our brand new, fully stocked showroom for the latest in doors, tiles, housewares, kitchenwares, bathwares, vanities, power tools, electrical, and plumbing supplies. So stop by our showroom to view our full range of products or call the Home Advisor hotline at 602-0935 today. We are your home advisors.
The Ministry of Health is working to ensure the safety of the Bahamian people. Help us minimize the risk that coronavirus poses to citizens, residents, and visitors by following these 5 easy steps. Step 1. Wet your hands with clean water. Apply soap and lather for 20 seconds by rubbing them together. Include the top of your hands between your fingers and under your fingernails. Rinse your hands under clean water, then dry them with a paper towel or air dry them. Remember to wash your hands before and after eating, preparing a meal, changing a diaper, or caring for the sick, and always after using the bathroom, touching money, shaking hands, or taking out the trash. Step 2. Cough and sneeze in your elbow or upper sleeve, not in your hands, not in the air. Or you can cover your nose and mouth with a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Put your used tissue in the trash bin when you're finished. Remember to wash your hands with soap and clean water after you cough or sneeze. Also, remember never to spit on the ground, roads, or in open spaces. Step 3. Ensure that raw meat is properly handled and cooked thoroughly. Step 4. Avoid sharing drinking glasses, eating utensils like spoons and forks, or sharing personal items such as toothbrushes and towels. Germs can live on surfaces we touch, so wipe and disinfect surfaces where germs can live, and keep your surroundings clean. Step 5. Avoid close contact with anyone showing symptoms of respiratory illness, such as coughing or sneezing. Should you or anyone you know feel that you have been exposed to the coronavirus, contact the surveillance unit of the Ministry of Health immediately. To reach us, call 502-4776, 502-4790, or 502-4737. We want Bahamians and those that live with and visit us to remain safe from the coronavirus. To do this, we need the help of each and every one of you to follow the simple steps we have shared. Let's stay safe, Bahamas.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, in partnership with the GB Resilience Center, presents The Unveil, a virtual Youth Month initiative tackling youth mental health issues. Friday, October 29th at 10 a.m. Let's talk about it and keep it real.
So put me together, break me apart again. No doubt about
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. In 2019, we brought you the story of a mother and resident of High Rock whose home was swept away by Hurricane Dorian. Her daughter and 2 nephews were staying in the house and they all perished. Today, the remaining siblings are seeking assistance to help restore their mother's home. They say they have sought assistance from NGOs and the Disaster Reconstruction Authority, but received none. And that is why they are now turning to the public for help. Ramiko Knowles reports.
Following Hurricane Dorian, she waited on her daughter and her 2 nephews to be found and returned home. That never happened. Fast forward to 2 years later. Now, she wants to return home. It was one of the many tragic and heart-wrenching stories hailing from a resident of East Grand, Bahama, a mother who lost her daughter, 2 sons, and her house during Hurricane Dorian. Some 2 years later, the remaining siblings are looking to rebuild their mother's home. Maydon Swan and Maylois Ramsey say they were given promises, but nothing ever materialized.
She wants to go back home. She wants to be back home in her own space and her own familiar surroundings. But unfortunately, as her children, we cannot do it on our own. And hence, we are here asking the community, asking the 242 to help us out. We have tried, and many times you are not in the position to do it. So if you are not in the position to do it, you would go and seek help, which we are now asking for assistance to help us, to help her get back into High Rock.
The mother, Odetta Cooper, has been staying with both her daughters since the storm destroyed her home in 2019. It's a life that she has yet to grow accustomed to.
Sitting in Freeport, just sitting down, nowhere to go. Can't do nothing. Get up in the morning time, just clean out the house and sit down, have lunch. And then after that, nothing to do. I'm used to that.
She says her children are taking good care of her, but she prefers to be on her own.
They helping me. Ain't nothing why I want, why I don't get. He say for that. What they could do for me, they just do it. But I said, and since I could do it, let me do it. I don't like pin on people, and I don't like beg people. Now I get a spot, I can't do it. If anybody had tell me, say, I was going to be like this, I would tell them, no way.
Now, some may argue that an elderly person should not be living in a home alone and should be staying with her children or in a home for the aged. But her daughters share a different opinion.
But she is still a person, an elderly person, a senior citizen who has her own independence, and I don't think that we should be discriminated because of our age. She's a farmer, and that's what she does. That's what she loves, to be in the yard, taking care of the yard, and she would just pick whatever she have, and she would share it with those in the community.
7 o'clock in the morning time, I get up, go in my garden, and that keeps me going for the rest of the day.
Now, if you would like to assist, you can contact them at 806-2771 or 441-4177. Or you can donate to Scotiabank account number 400-2538, branch 80515, in the name of Odetta Cooper. Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
A charitable organization with a vision is seeking to strengthen communities one youth at a time by fostering the next generation of leaders. Well, they are making a donation to the Grand Bahama Children's Home. CNC Advocacy is an organization based in Baltimore, Maryland. The organization was founded by a Grand Bahamian, and the Grand Bahamian native is happy to assist the Children's Home with a cash donation for a new playground.
In our mission following Hurricane Dorian, we did some work over in Abaco, and then we heard of the need for assistance here in Freeport, Grand Bahama as well. So we've been partnering both in Abaco and here, and looking for ways to foster relationships, being able to give kids abilities to get out and play. In terms of the outdoor facilities that we're looking at building here, it just means, it means that we're able to continue on the mission.
Executive Director of the Grand Bahama Children's Home, Joan Hutchison, says a new playground is needed at the home for the children to enhance outdoor activities. She is looking forward to seeing the smiles on the faces of the children once the project is completed.
They are going to be ecstatic. We're going to do it in 3 phases because we have children that are here from 2 years old to 16. And so we will have different areas for them to be able to have their fun, because right now we only have one little swing and everybody wants to get on the swing, and then there's all kinds of issues with that. So this way everybody has an area. And we'll also have a little area where if somebody wants to just be quiet and sit on a bench, pray, just read, that there's also an area for that too. So we're looking forward to how it can develop for them.
A deserving student getting a timely donation as an affiliate of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated presented a certificate of $500 to the mother of Jada Hanfield for higher educational assistance. Hanfield is the former valedictorian of Sunland Baptist Academy with hopes of one day becoming a pediatrician. Every year, the group gives out cash donations to assist parents with college expenses. Centennial Area Coordinator for the Bahamas, Alcina Duncombe, says it is a project that they are proud of.
We do the selection. We have our own selection process. And the young ladies in the Rover Club, the affiliate, the members there, they're expected to perform service activities. They're expected to maintain a good average. And they're also expected to help their peers, help the other ones among them who may not be so academically inclined, that kind of thing. They're supposed to act as encouragers to the young ladies. And we felt that Jada exemplified all of those qualities, so it was an easy pick to choose her for the assistance.
And that's a look at stories making news. Your Tuesday Sports Report is up next with Ramiko Knowles.
Welcome to ZNS Total Sports, your source for sports in the North. I'm Ramiko Knowles. This week marks the opening of the voting process for the 2021 World Athletes of the Year ahead of the World Athletics Awards to be held in December. A star-studded 10-strong shortlist has been released for the Female World Athlete of the Year award, featuring those who performed at the highest level across the year, including at the Tokyo Olympics. Shawnee Miller-Weebo has been nominated. A three-way voting process will determine the finalists. The World Athletics Council and the World Athletics family will cast their votes by email, while fans can vote online via the World Athletics social media platforms. Individual graphics for each nominee will be posted on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram this week. A like on Facebook and Instagram or a retweet on Twitter will count as one vote. The World Athletics Council's vote will count for 50% of the result, while the World Athletics family's vote and the public votes will each count for 25% of the final result. Voting for the World Athletes of the Year closes at midnight on Saturday, the 6th of November. The female and male World Athletes of the Year will be announced live at the World Athletics Awards 2021 in December. In NBA action, Buddy Hield made history last week Friday in the game against the Utah Jazz, passing Peja Stojakovic as the franchise's all-time three-point leader. Hield pulled up from about 28 feet in the final minute of the first quarter and absolutely buried it for the record, which was 1,071. The Kings lost their last matchup to the Warriors 119-107, their second loss of the season. Hield put up 6 points, nabbed 4 rebounds, and dished out 3 assists in 25 minutes of play. The Kings are set to tip off again on Wednesday, October 27, against DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns. And finally in sports, the Caribbean Golf Association wrapping up play in Florida over the weekend. Team Bahamas finished second in the Caribbean Amateur Four-Ball Championships. In the men's play ages 60 and up, the golf team players were Raymond Gibson and Oswald Moore for Team A, Leroy Williamson and Steve Wallace were Team B. In the men's play 50 and up, Horace Miller and Kevin Marsh were Team A, Anthony Hinsey and Kelsey Wold were Team B. In the 35 and up age group, team members were Ramon Romano, Linford Miller, Peter McIntosh on Team A. Team B members were Leander Bryce and Ian Hepburn. Great job, guys. And that is your check on sports. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Until next time, make it a great one.
Esquire is newly stocked with Tommy Hilfiger, from clothing to shoes and accessories. Visit Esquires for the latest in men's fashion. Phone 352-8816.
Are you tired, overweight, having trouble sticking to your health and fitness goals? Well, look no further. The Fitness Connection has teamed up with ZNS to bring you Health Bites. This and every Thursday, tune in, and we'll make sure you get on track and stay on track with your health and fitness goals. Tune in.
It's Park & Shop's end of summer sale with 25% off excluding underwear and red tag items. Sales racks up to 50% off. October 27th, 28th, 29th, and the 30th.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your number one news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
For Gerald Dames, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We say thank you for your support. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Shoshana Wolf-Farquharson. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, foreign service workers pulled out of volatile Haiti. Alleged police brutality caught on camera, more COVID vaccines on the way, and breast cancer cases increase. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Super Fast Internet for Less. Best rate, no debate. Sign up today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Topping the news as kidnappings surge in Haiti amid political instability, touched off by the July 7th assassination of President Jovenel Moïse. Bahamian Foreign Service workers on the ground there have been instructed to leave that country. Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, telling ZNS News today that though the Defense Force advised that everyone was safe and that there had been no incidents involving Bahamians, he decided to err on the side of caution.
Which said that the situation had returned, although not to normal. It was safe for our diplomats to go back. And we'd like to have the embassy open. We're the only ones from CARICOM are there, and the CARICOM community depends on the Bahamas for intelligence about what's going on there. Quite apart from our own intelligence, people in the Bahamas wanting to know what's going on the ground in Haiti. I felt, however, less secure about it once I started seeing the kidnapping reports and the issues of the demonstrations in the streets. There's been a strike going on for the last few days. So even though the report is that where our diplomats are in Petionville is safe, it seems to me that discretion is the better part of valor, and I've asked them to make preparations to come out as soon as that is possible.
Meantime, Minister Mitchell says talks continue with Haitian officials on those issues that continue to plague the country and impact the Bahamas.
Very much in a state of flux. I did have a talk with the Haitian minister who's here in Rome. At the moment, basically, they're only able to describe what we all know from the general newspaper and television and radio stories. They're I guess, optimistic that they will settle things with the opposition and be able to move forward to settle the political situation, which is mainly driving this. Of course, the security situation with the kidnapping, that's also a matter of concern. That's really why I've acted in the way I have.
In related news, the government so soon announced the names of the country's new diplomats as it moves to promote trade and commerce and friendly relations with countries globally.
We got signed off over the last week because, you know, the Prime Minister has to do that under Article 112. So first that has to happen is we have to have agreement or agreement from the other side for the people we nominate. Once that's done, we'll make the announcement, but should be shortly, within a month, if not weeks.
An alleged case of police brutality, a gang raising eyebrows about conduct on the police force, a concern that's prompted the National Security Minister to urge alleged victims to take their grievances beyond social media. This after a video purports to show a woman being choked by an arresting officer. Keishla Adderley has more from the minister's response to the disturbing images.
This video made the rounds on social media this week. The alleged victims and social media angered by the images, but according to National Security Minister, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, so far no complaint has been filed with the Deputy Police Commissioner who deals with complaints and corruption.
To the time of me meeting with him before Cabinet today, he had no information that they had actually come in. I would stress to the public it's not enough to put something up on social media. Please come in, make your complaints and corruption, or make a criminal complaint.
Minister Monroe stressing that a complaint is a requirement for due process for both the police officers and alleged victims, who he's concerned in many cases don't know their rights.
The first step is this. If you are interviewed and you are asked what is your position, you should state quite clearly, I wasn't doing anything, I was beaten up by the police officer, so it's recorded in your statement. Because you're arrested does not rob you of your rights. Even if you are arrested and charged because you may have committed a criminal offense, because I haven't seen the other part of the videos, there is nothing that calls for violence against a person, even if they have committed an offense.
The alleged incident shining a spotlight on the investigation of police officers accused of brutality. Minister Monroe says he doesn't see the need for the secrecy surrounding police corruption outcomes and will look into making them public.
I was told that there is some assertion that the rulings of the police court of inquiry are somehow secret. I don't see how that would make logical institutional sense if we're to get the public to have faith in the system. I don't know any law that says it is not liable to be disclosed. I know that the Freedom of Information Act, which this government is committed to bringing into full force, we passed it in our last iteration. It lay fallow for 5 years. We're moving on it again. Certainly it would be subject to a Freedom of Information request. But I would imagine it should be just like complaints before the Bar Ethics Committee and Disciplinary Tribunal. They may be private when they are allegations, when there's a conclusion. The conclusion, in my judgment, ought to be made public.
The courts recently awarded more than $80,000 to a man punched in the mouth by an off-duty police officer, resulting in tooth loss. But Mr. Monroe says that ruling has prompted him to take a closer look at the liability of the police force.
I am myself not certain of the liability of the state for the actions of off-duty officers who aren't purporting to carry out police functions. That is something that I will discuss with the Office of the Attorney General. I have not confirmed what was the punishment of the officer, what he was brought before the Police Complaints and Corruption Unit for, or what was the statement that was made. As I say, due process applies, and I would need to know those facts to know whether the punishment was appropriate or not.
Now, Minister Monroe says an investigation into the alleged case of police brutality is underway. Keishla Adderley, ZNS Network News.
Well, 3 alleged thieves are on the loose, but not for long if authorities have their way. All points bulletins have been issued for 22-year-old Mateo Fowler of Roosevelt Avenue, Windsor Lane. His description's down as dark brown complexion, between 5'6" and 5 feet 9 inches tall, and slim build. They're also looking for 22-year-old Topaz David Blue, whose last known addresses are Yamacraw Beach Estates as well as Claridge Road. He's said to be dark-skinned, somewhere between 5'6" and 5'9", and medium build. Authorities also want to speak to 24-year-old Ricardo Thompson, a.k.a. RJ of Claridge Road. He's medium brown in complexion, also between 5'6" and 5'9", tall and slim build. Any information on any of the suspects' whereabouts can be phoned into the Police Force's Western Division at 377-8391. Well, it's certainly not a new appeal, but the fact that it warrants repeating is cause for concern. Officers from the Road Traffic Department are urging motorists to slow down and pay attention to the speed limit in various areas. Corporal Patrick Camp and his team were in the Shirley Street area this morning conducting routine traffic stops. Camp stressing that many accidents can be avoided if only people drove within the speed limit and pay attention to the road.
One of the things that's very important to us is the speed and the excessive speed that is throughout our street. We are here with a team of officers, and we're looking for various offenses, and we are ticketing persons for various offenses. Persons who are not utilizing their seatbelt. We get persons who are still traveling throughout the streets with these children in the front seat and not utilizing their booster seat or car child protective seat, and various other offenses. So I'm going to encourage the drivers out there to continue driving with due care and attention.
Camp reminds that failure to stop is also a penalty that carries a hefty fine.
It is an offense to failing to stop when requested to do so by a police officer. You can find that you'll get a ticket of about $150 on fine yourself, and depending on the nature, the seriousness of you refusing to stop, you can find yourself before the courts.
And remember to tune in to the Morning Edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, at 6:30, and the National Report live at 7 p.m. All right here on the ZNS Network.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
We've heard your concerns about the COVID-19 vaccine, and we're here to give you some of the facts. The COVID-19 vaccine is absolutely safe and effective. We've seen that it definitely helps prevent people from getting severe illness and from death due to COVID-19. So people should take this vaccine, firstly to protect themselves from severe illness and death. But they should also be taking this vaccine to try and help the country get herd immunity. So while you may be sitting on the fence wondering what the vaccine might or might not do, right now, you can be sure that the virus itself can certainly make you ill at any age, in whatever physical condition you may be in. If you have comorbidities, diabetes, hypertension, and even obesity, do make sure that you get your COVID-19 vaccine as soon as it becomes available to you.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Legislators return to the House of Assembly tomorrow, the first time since the October 6th opening of Parliament, marking the start of the new government's agenda. As Press Secretary Clint Watson disclosed during last week's briefing, the plans to introduce 3 pieces of legislation, namely the proposed reduction in value-added tax from 12% to 10%, an increase in pension, and a merchant shipping bill. Now, for the first time since losing the government in the September 16th general election, former Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, will take his seat as opposition leader. And he is expected to hold on to that title until his party, the Free National Movement, holds its one-day convention on November 27th. An Urban Renewal Authority Act, soon to be the order of business in the House of Assembly. This as Minister of State for Social Services, the Honorable Lisa Ramming, says as is, the Commission is in need of dire restructuring. The announcement follows tours of urban renewal centers here in New Providence. Speaking to reporters outside Cabinet, Ramming admitted the existing framework of the Commission is, quite frankly, not working. However, implementing an act will see to the Commission's improvement, paving the way for more autonomy.
When and should urban renewal be placed under an authority, that is going to be something so revolutionized, not only for the people of the Bahamas, it will provide jobs, certainly, but its structure would also stop at all the bureaucracy and things taking so long to happen. And I want persons to know that urban renewal is not only the repairing of homes, but also it's the repairing of people's dignity, social, psychological, cultural, everything.
Another tranche of COVID-19 vaccines to arrive in the capital by early next month. That from Health Minister Dr. Michael Darville, who today reiterated that apart from pushing ahead with a countrywide vaccination campaign, the government is taking free testing to more islands and looking to make contact tracing and quarantine enforcement more effective. Here's Keishla Adderley.
As new cases of COVID-19 recede and vaccine numbers surge, more AstraZeneca vaccines are on the way to the capital.
Yes, we got the 57,000, and now we're expecting another 130,000 doses of Pfizer. The Bahamian people are coming out. We hope and pray that continue, because the last thing you want to see in my position is that it begins to flatten, where there's some individuals who just decide that they don't want the vaccine. And so I'm pleading again to Bahamians everywhere.
Health Minister Dr. Michael Darville's announcement as clusters develop on family islands where there were little to no cases.
We had one in Meguana that is resolved, to my understanding. We have clusters in Eleuthera. We have a small cluster in San Salvador. And the Bahamian people must realize that COVID is absolutely not going anywhere. It is the way how we control it. And the way how we control it is to ensure that we have the testing capabilities on the island, to make sure that we have a structured protocol in the event that someone is isolated. We know exactly how that's done. And then, of course, we must ensure that there's surveillance to make sure that those who are in quarantine and isolation do what they're supposed to do.
But that's not being left to chance. Dr. Darville explains that the monitoring system for those in quarantine is being reassessed.
The hubcap system was one that the former government was looking at. We're looking at another system, and at the end of the day, we'll make a final decision of which one would be implemented by the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
In the meantime, free testing, first rolled out in Inagua this month, is moving to other islands.
We also planning tomorrow to be in North Eleuthera and then on to the Berry Islands with free testing and mass giveaways.
And nearly a year and a half into this pandemic, Dr. Darville says the Bahamas is closely monitoring the U.S. push for a vaccine for 5 to 12-year-olds.
Because we want to make sure that our kids are safe. We know exactly what unvaccination means. And if there is an opportunity for our children to be vaccinated, and with the support of their parents, of course, we're prepared to follow suit.
Once the next tranche of vaccines arrive in the capital, health officials expect another to closely follow. Keishla Adderley, ZNS Network News.
Now, when last checked, new COVID infections and hospitalizations were trending down. The latest dashboard showing a total of 20 additional cases, 18 of them here in New Providence, another one each recorded on the islands of Bimini and Catkey and Inagua. Meantime, hospitalizations now at 94, with 13 in the intensive care unit. The national death toll from COVID-19 remains at 642. With 60 deaths under investigation. COVID-19 has interfered with everything. Its prevailing scare even blamed for the rather unsettling increase in breast cancer diagnosis here in the Bahamas. That according to Cancer Society Administrator Aaron Storr, who's basing that on the number of calls for assistance.
Persons who normally would have gotten their mammograms done last year or late 2020 weren't able to do it. So now that they're doing it this year, they're finding that there is an issue. And that's why we encourage women to every year have your mammogram done, because the time that you miss may be the time that there is something, and that time that disease can now spread or develop even more. So COVID has really hurt us in many ways, financially, and also bringing out the word and going to these islands and encouraging women and men and also to be tested.
And as you can imagine, the financial toll, another headache as many battle the disease in the face of no medical insurance and unemployment.
It's difficult for them to get medical attention, especially with the PMH clinics being closed due to COVID. And some of them had to take the little monies that they had saved up to get private testing or to see a private doctor in order to assist them with their diagnosis and treatment.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this month's list.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Across the Bahamas, we're more connected than ever before as we upgrade and expand our network, elevating your connection with BTC Superfast Fiber Internet. More people can access the best high-speed internet on our upgraded all-fiber optic network, providing you with a better experience working remotely, learning virtually, accessing more from home, and connecting with more opportunities. Visit our website or any store to upgrade to our super-fast fiber internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Ever since eating at KFC, Mark became the new savings icon. Get a KFC meal deal with 2 pieces of tender, juicy chicken, golden brown fries, a biscuit, and a soda for only $6.90 including VAT, and save like an expert at KFC. WhatsApp HI to 557-3663. KFC Nassau. So good.
There's nothing as powerful as knowing where you belong. No more waiting. It's time to come home. Come home to friendly smiles. Come home to convenience. Come home to more interest on savings and lower fees. Come home to our bank and your bank. Come home to Bank of the Bahamas, your bank of solutions.
As a professional graphic artist, I work from anywhere in the world. When I travel, I try to keep up with my paperwork and bills as much as possible, utilizing NIB's ESS or Employee Self-Service Portal to submit my monthly payments and to upload my contribution statement makes life easier. The portal is pretty easy to use too. I consider it to be user-friendly. It asks all the necessary questions to guide me through uploading my contribution statement, and I like that it calculates my payments. The NIB representative who showed me how to use the portal, she was patient, friendly, and knowledgeable. I used to fill out my contribution statement manually and visit an NIB office every month to make payments. But now the ESS portal allows for the entire process to be completed online in a time-efficient manner. Like, yay, thank you, that's done. You should sign up today at ess@nib-bahamas.com.
Breast cancer is the leading cause of cancer deaths in the Bahamas and in Bahamian women. At present, we are unable to prevent breast cancer, but performing screening mammograms can detect breast cancer at its earliest when there are no symptoms and when it is more likely to be treated successfully. All women should have a primary health care provider who is aware of their medical history, family history, and risk factors. Women 40 to 45 years can choose whether to start screening in consultation with their physician. All women 45 to 54 years should have an annual mammogram. Women older than 55 years can have a yearly mammogram or choose to have one every 2 years. Monthly breast self-exams in conjunction with the mammogram can increase the odds of early detection. Be proactive about your health.
The University of the Bahamas welcomes back a familiar face. Felicity Humblestone has been brought on as UB's Associate Vice President of Development and Grants. That leaves her responsible for establishing, cultivating, and sustaining relationships with individuals, corporations, and foundations to secure funding and support. Of course, all this to come in line with the university's strategic plan. Humblestone, who served for 3 years as Executive Director of the Lyford Key Foundation, says she's thrilled to return to an expanding University of the Bahamas and grateful to reconnect with former colleagues as well as meet new ones. UB President Dr. Rodney Smith sees Humblestone's addition to the team as completing the equation for the university to enter into a world of fundraising on a broader level locally and abroad. Meantime, UB's Vice President of Institutional Advancement and Alumni Affairs, Dino Hernandez, called the appointment relevant and timely given impending plans. Ms. Humblestone's appointment comes at a time when UB is preparing for a multi-year campaign focusing on rebuilding its North Campus on Grand Bahama following Hurricane Dorian. Culinary Week is back after sitting out a year due to the pandemic, but as Carla Palmer tells us, this time around, the yummy week-long treat took on a virtual twist.
Just days after the annual Culinary Week was observed here locally, prospective chefs enrolled in the program at the University of the Bahamas are back in the classroom, preparing to put theoretical application to practice. Interim Executive Director of Culinary Arts and Tourism Studies Unit at the University of the Bahamas is Chef Mario Adderley.
This is an annual event that we host to build awareness in our students for the culinary field, just to help them to be more exposed to what's out there, and also to expose them to guest speakers. Typically, we'd bring in chefs from the American Culinary Federation for competitions and certifications. It's extremely important. We want our students to be exposed. Plenty of our students don't leave this rock. And for students to be able to be exposed to chefs at different levels, it helps them to see where they could aspire to be.
With a food shortage now being experienced, Chef Adderley says it's even more imperative that students are not only creative, but are skillful in utilizing locally grown produce.
Because of the food shortages. And so what they could have gotten overnight now takes 2 weeks. And so they have to adjust the menus, they have to reduce their offerings, but yet still strive to keep the customers happy. And so we want our students to know, in this field, you have to be able to pivot, you have to be able to shift and move, and so as to meet the needs of your customers. In the U.S., you have a lot of restaurants, hospitality, culinary schools that have gardens. And so farm to table. And so we have to learn to utilize our local resources. And our farmers, they have to realize that, wow, this is an opportunity for us to step it up.
Chef Adderley says a key ingredient of the program they are focusing on is authentic Bahamian cuisine.
A part of our revised Associates in Culinary Arts frame, we're introducing a Bahamian cuisine class. So every student that leaves out of this program has a greater appreciation for not only where the food, our food foundation came from, but how it's prepared, how it should be served, and how we could take it to a higher level. Because when persons travel to the Bahamas, they're not traveling here to eat what they could get in the U.S. They want to be exposed to our cuisine, our culture, and be fully engulfed with what we have to offer. And in order for us to get to that point, we have to appreciate what we have and be proud of our cuisine.
Over 300 students are enrolled in the Culinary and Tourism Studies program at UB, and since the pandemic, has been operating on the hybrid model. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
A place where the very best is made, Sandals execution Chairman Adam Stewart calls it. This as Florida International University, the University of the West Indies, and Sandal Resorts International sign a memorandum of understanding to bring to life the Gordon Butts Stewart International School of Hospitality and Tourism. It's an initiative that is more than 30 years in the making, aptly named after the late Sandals founder, whose mandate it was to advance tourism and hospitality in the region.
This is the world's leading Caribbean hospitality enterprise coming together with two of the finest academia institutions on planet Earth who specialize in hospitality, who have recognized that together we will achieve more. And what we're simply doing here is preparing the next generation for the industry that is going to be the catalyst for not only tourism, but for everything around tourism.
Officials are set to tour the campuses of both FIU and UWI this week to chart the way forward. In the meantime, however, Stewart has proposed Sandals Resorts International itself as the learning ground for future students.
The larger discussion, our intention here, is to utilize the Sandals infrastructure, which in and of itself is a university, for practical on-the-job training. So yes, there will be a physical campus. Yes, there will be an open campus. But there's also going to be the campus of Sandals Resorts International and everything that it can become to facilitate practical real-life learning in a structured way.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up.
How's your day going?
In a word, busy. 6 a.m. gym, 7 a.m. breakfast, 8 a.m. drop the kids to school, 9 to 3 back-to-back meetings with working lunch, of course, 4 p.m. pick up the kids, 4:15 dog groomer. Oh, but that reminds me, oh dear.
Is something wrong?
Yeah, double book my 6 p.m. Charity committee versus helping out at the kids' ballet. Oh, it's a tough one. I promised the kids.
Which one are you going to reschedule?
Neither. Divide and conquer. My husband can handle his own on the dance floor.
It's a good thing your money's been just as busy.
RF, keeping your money busy with investment products and services that match your needs.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
Having a policy with Bahama Health is more than just health insurance. It's about feeling good knowing that your health and wellness is covered. It's about the confidence you feel knowing that your card is accepted by over 50 pharmacies and 400 local doctors. It's about peace of mind, knowing that when you travel, you have comprehensive coverage and our overseas partner is just a phone call away. It's about the security you feel, knowing that you're an important part of the family.
Join the family. Colon cancer is the third most common cancer affecting Bahamians. Your risk of developing colon cancer is increased if you have a personal history of colorectal cancer or colon polyps, a family history of colon cancer, or inflammatory bowel diseases such as ulcerative colitis. Other factors that can increase your risk of developing colon cancer are low fiber, high fat diets, a sedentary lifestyle, obesity, smoking, and alcohol. You can take steps to reduce your risk of colon cancer by making specific lifestyle changes. Eat a variety of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. These foods contain fiber, minerals, vitamins, and antioxidants, which may play a role in cancer prevention. Drink alcohol in moderation or not at all. Do not smoke. Exercise with a goal of getting in at least 30 minutes each day. If you've been inactive, start slowly and gradually build up to 30 minutes. Also, talk to your doctor before starting any exercise program. Maintain a healthy weight. If you're at a healthy weight, maintain it by combining a well-balanced diet with daily exercise. If you need to lose weight, ask your doctor about healthy ways to achieve your goal. Colon cancer screening can also help to prevent colon cancer or lead to its early detection when treatment is most effective. If you're 45 years or older, speak to your doctor about having a colonoscopy or some form of colon cancer screening that may be appropriate for you. I'm Dr. Eugene Marcus Cooper. Pay attention to your health. Get the facts and discuss colon cancer with your physician today.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
The Minister with responsibility for disaster preparedness, management and reconstruction, the Honourable Miles LaRota, says the situation in Abaco remains dire post-Hurricane Dorian. This on the heels of his latest on-the-ground assessment.
That are working better than others. I viewed the dump sites in Green Turtle Key, also on the mainland in Marsh Harbor. With regards to some of the other outer islands, Moores Island in particular, the hurricane really ravaged that island. The dock that is there, the public dock, was actually rebuilt by the residents of Moores Island using reclaimed wood and reclaimed nails. The airport is not functional. As a matter of fact, the windows are broken and the nurses' clinic is in a horrible state.
Minister LaRota also shared that the domes on the island are inadequate for long-term use.
With some employees at the DRA, those domes were really supposed to be a stopgap measure, maybe for a year and a half, until affordable housing could be replaced. What I saw on the ground physically, I don't see how those domes could be a permanent solution to the housing needs.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makishla. Outside of our studios, we are under mostly sunny skies. Temperature 86 degrees. Relative humidity at 74%. The winds are now out of the northwest at 14 miles per hour. Barometric pressure 1,011.3 millibars. That is 29.86 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 84 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Toll, Key, and Marsh Harbor. In Abaco, the Berry Islands, 83. Alistown, Bimini, 84 degrees. 83 in Harbor Island and Rockstown, Eleuthera. Black Point, Exuma, and Kemps Bay, St. Andrews at 85, 84 in Fresh Creek, Central Andros. Alistown, Cat Island, San Salvador, Rumkey, and Georgetown, Exuma, all at 84. 85 in Ragged Island, Clarencetown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, 84, Acklands, 84, also Matchitown, United, and Turks and Caicos Island. They round out our temperature profile at 84 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. In the northwestern islands tonight through Wednesday, the winds will remain out of the northwest behind a weak frontal system, which went through earlier today. Wave heights 2 to 4 feet. High tide will take place at 35 minutes past midnight. You can expect your low tide at 6:34 tomorrow morning. In the central Bahamas, also through Wednesday, the winds southwest to west at 10 to 15 knots. Wave heights 2 to 4 feet. In the southeast Bahamas, we'll have light and variable winds with flat seas 1 to 3 feet. And then on Thursday, in the northwestern part of our country, southwest winds 15 knots will be the speeds, and that's ahead of yet another frontal system, which we expect to move in here sometime on Friday. 3 to 5 feet wave heights. Low tide takes place at 7:29 in the morning. High tide at 1:59 in the afternoon. In the central islands, westerly flow 10 to 15 knots. Wave heights 2 to 4 feet. And for the southeast Bahamas, that light and variable conditions will continue. And that's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
I don't want no dirty stone to stuck between my teeth. I'm feeling some biscuits, hide and play that out. All I want is that sweet juicy crab in my mouth. I want me some crab sauce. I can buy that crab house. I want me some crab sauce. I can buy that crab house. I want me some crab sauce. I can buy that crab house. All I want is that sweet juicy crab in my mouth.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
We elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate.
Well, I guess you can say that BTC has done it again. We've entered into a partnership with Bahamian Olympic gold medalist Stephen Speedy Gardner in a partnership that will be one for the record books.
What BTC is doing today is very awesome for the community because, you know, in this COVID time, you have a lot of people who are hurting, who are in need of groceries, and I'm out here today. They gave out a few of these cards, and I came for 4 senior citizens who aren't able to make it for themselves. So I came to collect their 4 grocery bags and I will deliver to them. It really do go a long way, and I know they appreciate this bag today.
Oh, yeah, it's very nice to see Mr. Stephen Gardner. That made me feel wonderful, man. I'm much obliged for what I got to receive. And then with this crowd, I know they're thankful. I appreciate BETC for what they're doing. And thank you. God bless them.
Whether it's on the tracks or in the community, Stephen Gardner is proving that he has the winning formula all around. These are the moments that move us. I'm Corbell Pye from Be Well and Be Back Here Next, BTC Connection.
Today is a day for fun. Today is a day for family. So why should yesterday's worries affect my today? That's why I insure my family with J.S. Johnson, because their mission is to provide us with the best insurance coverage possible. With J.S. Johnson, I know my family comes first, so I take comfort in knowing that they always have us covered, providing us with a great today and an even better tomorrow.
J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
The past is what drives us, but it is no more. In it, we learn valuable lessons about where we came from. The future is what we aspire to, but it is yet to be written. Thinking about it allows us to plan for a better tomorrow. The present is the only thing we possess right now. It is the moment when we rise to the occasion, so that we stand in the beauty and wonder of who we are. Where our strength really matters, because our resilience speaks for itself. We plan for where we are today, a strong company, a powerful network, built by the people, for the people, because we believed in best, because we lived for the moments, and we delivered. You know what we were, and now you get to see who we are. We are alive.
This portion of the news brought to you by Genuine Care, keeping you home while you're away. This is ZNS Total Sports.
Secretary General of the North and Central American and Caribbean Athletics Confederation, Keith Joseph, in town recently. While here, he met with President Mike Sands and later made a courtesy call on Sports Minister, the Honorable Mario Boleg.
Now that the Bahamas has the privilege of being the host of the president of NACAC, that is an excellent opportunity for us to increase our collaboration, enhance our relationship, broaden our horizons, and collectively bolster the sport for the Americas. Your proximity to the USA as a gateway to the Bahamas, your proximity and strategic location relative to the members of NACAC allows us to talk in practical terms of the possibility of establishing a home for NACAC, a headquarters for NACAC. We've never had a home. The principle has always been that we move wherever the president is located. That has its own limitations.
With the Confederation looking for a permanent home, Minister Boleg told Joseph the Bahamas would be the better choice.
With Mike Sands being the president of NACAC, that don't mean he's going to be the president forever.
But for us to just have an establishment of such in our country, meaning that whoever becomes the president as time goes on will be able to establish a home here in the Bahamas is uttermost important. As you can say, as the Secretary General said earlier, when you look at us, this country has a per capita, and the performance and how we have performed at the world level and Olympic level, I mean, this is the place in our proximity to the United States, this is the place where everybody wants to be. So it's affordable to come here, and I believe if the opportunity allow, that we should be able to provide that home for NACAC, we will. But of course, we have to look at the logistics and everything and see how best possible. But our doors are open for the initiatives, and we hope that the plans as relates to how we can get that happening will be presented, and then we can look at it.
Well, thanks to the Magical Builders Organization out of California, the Pinewood Baseball Park is set to get a facelift. This relationship came about thanks to the connections of local pro baseball players such as Lucius Fox.
We look forward to turning that into a beautiful complex, that we all played on. Since I was a little kid, I would always go to Pinewood Park to have fun, whether that was the basketball court or walk down the street and, play the, I came up with Maximum Development at the time. That was at Pinewood Park. We used to work up there every day, and, like Todd said, Jazz made it to the big leagues this year, but that's where we started. We worked up there every day, and just to turn that place into a beautiful complex with me and the world last, and we look forward to doing that.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
When you wanna save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you wanna look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Rainbow evaporated milk, large, 2 for 99 cents. Super Beet sardines, 3.7 ounce, 79 cents. Super Value purified water, 1 gallon, $1.39. Sweet Gala apples, 3 for 89 cents. Ground turkey, 99 cents per pound. These specials fit perfectly in a handy tote bags, 2 for only $3 at Super Value and quality supermarkets. Open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's Super Value and quality supermarkets.
Best rate, no debate. Best rate, no debate.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rate, no debate. Best rate, no debate.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Yo, from accounts.
Appreciate it.
Bro, what happened? I thought you all vaccinated people supposed to be invincible.
No, bro. Fully vaccinated people still can catch COVID-19.
Wow. See? That's why. Don't make no sense taking it. Don't get it.
Okay, let's look at it like this. You could wear a seatbelt and still get in an accident, right?
All right.
You could exercise, drink smoothies, eat healthy, and still get sick.
What's the point?
Nothing is 100%. Plus, the majority of the breakthrough cases in those fully vaccinated were either asymptomatic or had mild symptoms.
Pull up the website and let me make my appointment.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather in the tropics, it's quiet again this evening with 35 days remaining in the season, and that's due to the fact that we have this strong upper-level wind sharing taking place across the tropical belt. But our computer models are suggesting that an area of low pressure, non-tropical low, is expected to form just off the east coast of the United States, and that will generate some strong northeasterly winds, which will generate also some large swells that will begin on Friday for us and continue right into Monday of next week. And on our satellite picture, you can see that weak front system that went through earlier today. Most of the precipitation associated with that, fortunately for us, remains over the Atlantic Ocean. Behind that, drier conditions will prevail over the next couple of days before the arrival of yet another front, which should get in here sometime on late Friday night. Partly cloudy conditions tonight with a passing shower or two still possible. 76 degrees for your low temperature. And tomorrow we're going in for a delightful day with lots of sunshine. 86 degrees for your high temperature. And your extended weather forecast, beautiful day tomorrow. But come Thursday, a prefrontal trough will move into the northwest Bahamas, generating some showers and thunderstorms, which could be heavy at times. But by Friday night is when we expect the actual front to push through. So some weather conditions shaping up through Friday. But on Saturday, there will be the opening of our skies, lots of sunshine, return milder temperatures as that second frontal system go through. We will see nighttime temperatures in the low 70s. Makishla.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. And as we celebrate our 44th year of television broadcasting, it feels great to be your home. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
The success of the Inagua National Park is due to innovative partnerships between people working at international, national, local, and even corporate levels. A fine example of public and private entities working together is the partnership that has evolved between the Morton Salt Company and the Bahamas National Trust. Morton runs a solar salt operation on Inagua, employing a large percentage of the population. Expanding on the naturally occurring salt pans due to the low rainfall and rapid evaporation process, Morton collects and exports salt throughout the world.
Really quite phenomenal. The salt, the production of the salt is really good for the flamingos. And the flamingos are really good for salt production. Basically what happens is in the great big evaporators, they have the brine shrimp that are living in there, so it's a great place for the flamingos to eat. But while the flamingos are in there eating brine shrimp, there's also flamingo droppings that are going into the evaporators, help speed up the evaporation process. And so you have this wonderful partnership. Flamingos and salt really seem to go together. And in fact, that's true not just of flamingos, but also of shorebirds. You'll find in different places in the world where you have salt, you will find that they are literally fabulous places for water birds and also for migrating birds. Usually lots of food there for them. And it seems to work out really, really wonderful partnership. As a corporate sponsor for the Inagua National Park, I can't even begin to say what Morton has done for us. They have been a true helper. If we need things, for a couple of years, they were the ones who financed and donated our truck to us. Now, when we're going down and visiting in the park, the main house, which is owned by Morton, and then also there are a couple of private rental houses that the company owns. Mr. Bannister, who is now the chief executive of Morton, has basically said, this is the B&T house. You know, this is where when you all come down to work, this is where you all can stay. And we're very grateful for that and for the support that Morton gives us.
In addition to being home to the largest nesting flock of West Indian flamingos, the park has two other important distinctions. In 1997, it was designated a wetland of international importance as the Bahamas became a signatory to the Ramsar Convention.
The Bahamas signed the Ramsar Convention, which is to say that the country has made a commitment to preserving wetlands and also to restoration of wetlands. The Inagua National Park was selected as our Ramsar site of importance. The country has one Ramsar site. It makes the Inagua National Park very special. It means that it has met Ramsar's criteria as a wetland of international importance. So that's in itself a very, very important designation. Even when you go and visit the park, it's really hard to get, unless you really look at a map, to get the scope of what is protected in that park.
The other important distinction is the designation as an important bird area, or IBA, based on BirdLife International's criteria.
With the IBA status, part of it is, yes, using the criteria, saying this is a great place for birds, but it also does another thing. It says it's not just great for birds, it says it's great for biodiversity. Part of the BirdLife partnership is not just to go in and say this is an area that's important for birds, it's to try to involve the local people in getting involved in important bird areas and taking place in the monitoring and doing activities and creating sustainable use in parks.
Inagua Park's warden, Henry Nixon, is in charge of the local efforts. He is the son and nephew of the original park wardens, Sam and Jimmy Nixon.
A club was formed in Inagua to be a site support group for the Bahamas National Trust. We give it the name the Sam Nixon Bird Watching Club.
They've really learned the birds, they're really excited about them. And one of the interesting things about our site support group is I would say half of them are in somehow or another are nieces, nephews, grandchildren of Sammy and Jimmy.
Now we have about 52 members. Our youngest member, which is the little chunky fella right here. And then we have up to older folks. The club is named after my father, who was Sam Nixon. And there's his offspring. I am his son. We have Sam Nixon children, his grandchildren, his great-grandchildren. But there's also other people that are members. Everybody that's in the club love birds and wildlife.
Through the work of the Bahamas National Trust, efforts of local wardens, and the support of Morton Salt, the residents of Matthewtown have come to appreciate the natural beauty and resources of their island.
I think that the people of Inagua realize that they live in a very special place. Development is going to come to Inagua. Hopefully it will be very environmentally friendly because that huge national park is down there and because it is a Ramsar site. Government is going to be probably very careful and very, very selective about what happens. But as with all development in the Bahamas, when it's so far away, things can happen and you don't know that they're happening. And we haven't reached the point yet where we can assign officers to bird dog literally what's happening with every single development in the country.
With the continued support and cooperation of local residents, the wardens, Morton Salt, and the Bahamas National Trust members, it is likely that this beautiful sanctuary can be preserved for future generations of Bahamians and visitors.
If I can be half the man that my father and uncle was, I think I can make it, and I can go a long way.